Welcome back to Reykjavík Newscast. My name is Josie Anne. I'm a journalist with Reykjavík Grapevine. Today we are in Seltjarnarnes. This is Grotta. By the way, I live in Seltjarnarnes and I don't say it right, and people are always picking me up on this, so apologies for that. Some words in Icelandic are just kind of beyond my pronunciation level. Art is behind the camera today. It's pretty windy, as you can tell, but he's a much better camera person than I, so hopefully there'll be no spinning phones. Before we get started with the news today, I just want to remind you about our box of winter darkness in our shop. It's pretty sunny and beautiful today, but we've been having some very dark winter stormy weather, and this box is the perfect antidote to that. I'll get Art to stick a picture of it up here. And yeah, but we've got lots to tell you about today, and we want to show you around this really beautiful area in the snow as well. So let's get on with the news. Okay, so first of all, obviously COVID. The big update there is that all restrictions regarding COVID in Iceland are going to be lifted at midnight tomorrow night. So that's Friday night. This has been kind of expected. It was announced, I think I talked about it in my last newscast with you last week. But it's obviously a huge change in our relationship with the pandemic and living with coronavirus. This refers to all restrictions, including bans on gathering limits. It's border restrictions, so for those of you who are coming to Iceland, both Icelandic nationals and residents and visitors, tourists, there will be no border restrictions any longer. And it also refers to mask wearing. That being said, Katrin Jakobsdóttir and the health minister as well, Willem Four, have both encouraged that people still remain vigilant to any symptoms of COVID, and if you do experience these symptoms, you should stay at home and you should not mix with other people until you don't have symptoms anymore, basically. And they've also said that while mask wearing will no longer be mandatory, they do encourage it. So I think for a while we will see kind of a mixed bag of some people wearing masks, and you know, it's always encouraged as a means to not spread infection. But the restrictions themselves will be lifted, and the response by people who own businesses, restaurants, tourist attractions has been very positive. While we still have very high numbers of COVID at the moment in Iceland, there is a feeling that the Omicron variant is less severe, and therefore the lifting of restrictions is a response to that, and the fact that most of the population here is vaccinated and boosted. So yeah, the response in Iceland has been very positive. Now, Katrin Jakobsdóttir has also made it incredibly clear that if any further changes to the COVID situation happen, they will not hesitate to reintroduce restrictions. So that is something to bear in mind. But at the moment, there's cautious cause for celebration. This, by the way, this structure is really beautiful. I believe this is originally for drying fish, which is a very common snack in Iceland. It's almost like fish jerky. I don't know if you've tried it, and they often have it dipped in butter. I don't think they use it anymore. Certainly there's no fish in it just now, but they've got all these lovely Christmas or winter lights on it, I guess. So it's pretty nice. But talking of fish, on to something else. An update in the Fishrot Files. That case we talked about again in my last newscast. Oh, it's pretty windy. So yes, I think if you remember what I was talking about last time, is that 4 journalists who were involved in investigating this case have been investigated now themselves by the police. And there's been a huge outcry based on this, and journalistic freedoms being inhibited. And a weird twist in that is that it's now been announced by the lawyer of one of these journalists Adelson Karchenson, I think he's called, from Stunton. His lawyer has been looking into the case, obviously, and has basically announced that this, so the case now, in terms of the investigation of the journalists, relates to a phone that was reported stolen belonging to the captain of the ship of Samherji, the fishing company. And these journalists were reporting on information emails that were suspected to be gathered from that phone. And they were between what was called the guerrilla division of Samherji. Now, the police investigation, it has been announced, doesn't actually relate to that activity, but to completely separate information on that phone. Sounds a little bit unlikely in some ways. There's definitely some weird twist going on here, but that's the latest update on that case, and obviously we'll keep you posted for any further developments. Before I talk about the last thing, this, by the way, is it's a little mini hot pot, basically, and Art really wants me to put my feet in it. It's pretty cold, and this water is a variety of temperatures. So let's see how warm it is today. Ugh. Try not to drop my microphone in it either, then he'll be really cross. You always have multiple layers of socks, thermals, what have you, if you're out and about in the Icelandic winter. Woo! Okay. Let's see how it is, eh? Okay, that's actually really nice. Cozy. So last in the news for today, and this is international news, and it's last but certainly not least, is obviously the Russian invasion of Ukraine. There has been a very quick response from Icelandic politicians, 3 of which who will be involved in a meeting later on today, and also involved in the NATO response to the situation. Our Prime Minister, Katrin Jakobsdottir, has come out in complete condemnation of Russia's aggressions towards Ukraine, and in general there's cross-party condemnation of Russia's actions. It's also been announced, I think it's a Facebook event, that Russian residents in Iceland will be holding a protest, some of them anyway, at the Russian embassy this evening. So the mood in Iceland is very much one of sorrow for the Ukrainian people and concern, and and then that's reflected in the response from our politicians as well. And obviously we at Grapevine are watching the situation closely from afar and thinking of all of those involved and all of those feeling rightly concerned and scared by the situation. We will just wait and see. We'll find out what happens next. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my lovely soak at the beach in the beautiful sunny weather. We will be back with you, possibly not next week. It's our print week. We also make a newspaper, if you didn't know. And so the weeks that we go to print are really busy in the office. So if you don't see us next week, don't worry. People are always writing comments and saying, it's been this many days since the newscast. How's Polly? How's everyone getting on? It's just because we are making a paper. So look out for lots of lovely new articles coming soon if you read them on our website or if you get the paper delivered. Don't forget as well our shop. You can get lovely lopa pesas like this one. You can get our box of Winter Darkness. And don't forget to like, comment. I'll get back to you. I love responding to the comments, and subscribe. We'll see you later. I wish I could put my whole self in. Then I'd be really warm.